Do y'all remember when we were talking about the Xbox Rogue Ally? Do you remember when I actually told y'all that this device is a console and a handheld and a PC? And it's not just that we're categorizing it as such, it's because ASUS, the hardware manufacturer, actually deems it so. Recently, what I did was, and in the spirit of baiting, I posted a short clip. And this clip was one that was from that gentleman who accidentally received his Xbox Rogue Ally X ahead of schedule. And he was doing his review. He was actually talking about this device, spinning it around, and he unveiled what I think is the thing that's going to make a lot of heads explode, because you know a lot of dishonesty about this device has actually been propagated, right? So I'm going to show you the clip. I'm going to go ahead and play exactly what it is that I put up there. And you're also going to see the reaction of some of the fellow PlayStation fanboys and how already they're starting to flake on me. I thought you guys were very confident that this device was not everything you claimed it was, because I know that one of the best things about y'all is you're not careful in the way you build your argument, not seeing that they make you vulnerable to actually bodying your own arguments in many cases.
I think it's even the same. I had the console a few months ago, and I think it's almost the same type of materials used. It's very, very nice. Well,
so at the back of the device is the sticker that says handheld console PC. The moment I put this up here, one PlayStation fanboy had already kind of tried to make a joke about my previous tweet where I actually said it. So I first dumped this video on them. It disappeared. I didn't get a reply. He probably knew that the smoke was coming. So smart guy, I can respect that, Joseph. You thought that you were going to come out here and talk. But Maxwell Quevedo, shout out to you, bro. Maxwell said to me, he said, say it louder for the actual smart people in the back that don't fall for this BS. And I said, oh, seems like you guys are scared. Your favorite talking heads were lying to you. This has been a thing for 2 years. But when Xbox did it, y'all want to throw a tantrum. The hypocrisy is showing. Can you imagine when these Xbox guys open the box and see that? What's going to happen? Indeed, he said, I'm a Sony fan and I approve this message. He said, that's how you, and then he insulted me, dumb guys, are that you respond with a diss to yourselves. And I said, nah, Maxwell, you're going to have to pretend harder, because I'm not convinced that you're pretending enough. You all have been playing on easy mode, and I'm about to help you all out there. Before we even go any further, this particular device and its previous models, which were the ASUS ROG Ally, the ROG Ally and the Refresh and the ROG Ally X, ASUS had already been calling them handheld console PCs. When Digital Foundry was saying that this device was not an Xbox or whatever it is, I was laughing because it's them who actually did this unboxing where they have this thing right in front of everybody and it shows it. So what's going to happen now, ladies and gentlemen, is you're going to see more PlayStation fanboy meltdowns. Not because anybody wants to go out here and probably take this lightly, but because many of them have been believing a lot of lies. In fact, what's weird at the end of the day is some people didn't necessarily like it. Some people were shouting. They were like, oh my gosh, look at this. Somebody actually went ahead and re-quoted the tweet and decided to say that they fixed it. Let me go ahead and show you the quote because it's very interesting, you know. Shout out to Xbox Brand 101. They said they love the look of the newest Xbox. Yep, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Xbox guys. We welcome you to PC. You know, this is a great day in the PC, master race. We're happy to have you guys out here. And Lazy Gamer said, handheld PC, I fixed it. I said, excuse me, armchair engineer, how are you? What product did you use or did you make that you're fixing? Y'all are about to learn. You see, where we've been going, shout out to Dachi as well, too. He put up the description of the console in Spanish, and you can already see it, too. It says portable console. They're not going to run anywhere. This was actually something that when I was actually doing the first set of arguments, I actually put it out there. I talked about it with the old Xbox, I said old Xbox, the old Asus ROG Ally and ROG Ally X. But as this stuff started fomenting with a lot of these fanboys basically trying to throw shade at the device, I purposefully sat on this because I knew that this would be best put out at the onset, or at least as we're getting close to the launch of the device. I also remember somebody telling me that I'm obsessed with this handheld. Yes, I am. I'm a PC gamer. I've been wanting y'all to come to PC. I'm going to show you a comment from one of the longtime ardent Xbox guys who finally did exactly what I said y'all were going to do. Give me a second there. Keriki, or whatever your name is, you said it's a PC handheld that has the Xbox app installed. Not a big deal. My MSI Cloth first generation does that, LOL. My dude, it's an Xbox, man. Moving on. Yeah, PC is an Xbox. PC has an Xbox app. Move on, guys. This guy says, Grok, what's the price breakdown of this? Put in terms of new Game Pass monthly price. We don't care. This guy said it's an Xbox, bro. Free JC, you said cute. You know why you said cute, right? Because my dream of seeing the Xbox gamers pick up the PC is coming through. This guy is over here fake puking. You puke more. Puke your guts out. These guys are so funny. Somewhere, somehow, it's been one of those very interesting journeys to see a lot of people flail and almost abandon the positions that they held. It's very interesting. You see, let me go ahead and kind of help y'all PlayStation guys. You've been used to running around and picking and choosing whichever argument was convenient to you, right? But now what we're doing is when you drop an argument that you don't like, right? We'll pick it up and we'll hand it back to you. And we'll basically have a picture of you having held the argument and been touting it in the air. You know how people do when they wave, big, huge signs of their beliefs and of their, positions on things, right? They're always talking, free the blah, 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 blah. And they're doing all this stuff, and then you just basically sit there and you take notes and you sit there and you basically take receipts, right? And then when it comes time, you basically go back and say, hey, man, remember how it is? So did many of them caught in 4K and they want to drop these arguments, but it's impossible to do so. And here's the comment where I get my flowers. And, guys, this means a lot to me. I almost want to just laugh, cry. So K, a shout out to you. You said, well, VG, congratulations on moving console gamers to PC gamers. Though this wasn't all you're doing. I mean, of course, I had the $4 trillion backing me, so I humbly accept these flowers that you give me, even though there's a giant weight. You said I have to give credit to Microsoft and their foolish ways. And then you said this is I did not expect this last line, bro. You said, just waiting for a whole load of components coming from Amazon to get this build started. Like, what? You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that this is probably one of the best and most shocking incidences that I am going to experience in a long time. If you do not know, this gentleman is a very, very ardent supporter of Xbox. And, honestly, I don't see any problem for the Xbox gamer as they make their way to PC. They have a lot of advantages. You guys literally have more incentive to move to PC than anybody else in any ecosystem. Nintendo is locked down to, whatever it is that Nintendo is doing. PlayStation is locked down to whatever PlayStation is doing. You on the Xbox side, there's an integrated aspect to it where you have access to a bunch of different video games. You have access to a bunch of different ecosystems. You have access to a bunch of different possibilities out there. I mean, I can't say how important it is to know that you can be getting approximately 20,000 games a year access. That's insane. You're not getting 20,000 games a year on any of the consoles. As it stands right now on Steam, there are 14,667 games that have already been launched. They'll be launched on other PC, capable platforms as well. And in this particular case, you're also going to see that if you go ahead and take an account of maybe even say the list of PlayStation 5 games that maybe launched, let's just do a 2024 to 2024 comparison. There were 925 games that launched on the PlayStation 5. It's a lot of games, but it's not 18,000. Now, let me quickly stop you on the shovelware comment that's about to get typed on my comment section, because none of you have actually taken the time to go look at these titles and actually figure out for yourself what these games actually are when you take your time and actually play them. And this is where I think a lot of you are actually missing the full weight of the conversation, is that many of these games are small, fun games that, for the most part, are looked over in the conversation where everybody likes the lights, camera, action type video games. They're tiny little games here that are very appropriate in terms of their, scope, in terms of their, their niche, and in terms of an expansion of, say, things that it takes AAA, companies, half a dozen years to launch. Whereas you have a plethora of them that are launching because of the indie access to bring games to the market that Steam actually provides for them. There's not really too much of a gatekeeping process. Now, yes, that may affect quality and such, but you also got to remember that Steam is a platform that allows for you to be able to go ahead and do refunds should you not be satisfied. Epic Games, the same thing. Good Old Games, the same thing. In fact, what's even going on right now is games on, the different platform releases are starting to get some sense. This was one of the biggest news highlights this week, but, because Xbox, was dying, nobody could hear, some good news. As people are saying, oh, they got a big game on Good Old Games. And I was laughing going, my dude, there have always been big games on Good Old Games. It's developers that were always wanting to be greedy and didn't want you to have access to these offline installers. They wanted to keep DRM there and lock it down. And now you have access to DRM-free versions of some of these releases as they're coming out, because Cyberpunk 2077 enjoyed a huge, portrayal of what it could actually look like if Good Old Games was bringing and furnishing the market with its titles of DRM-free, stuff. Look at this, DRM-free version of Silent Hill F. At the same time, you can also go back and look at, say, even other titles like Expedition 33 and all of that stuff. The status quo, right, of, you can own your games is no longer relegated to the physical disc on a console or the good old physical discs that, exist on PC. Yes, PC games used to have physical discs. I know. Console gamers, you make it really interesting in the whole conversation. So, at the end of the day, how does this all play out? I strongly believe that as you're coming to PC, you start to see major benefits. You'll be impervious to this silly console war that so-called PlayStation fanboys are trying to put out there. You won't even care. You have access to so many games, so many alternative games, that you won't even remember what PlayStation is doing. I strongly believe that this is what Xbox is trying to do. They're trying to trivialize PlayStation's stranglehold on the market, as well as Nintendo. They want to make it where if you've never really been invested in these ecosystems, you look at them and take them for granted, while they can just sit there and sell you their own ecosystem, their subscription, and everything. That's what they want to do. And that's what they're successfully doing right now, where they're trivializing the entire gaming industry. If this is what's maybe irking a lot of people, I can understand, but as a customer, it benefits me. So maybe these businesses and these, developers and publishers ought to find what I think are very interesting business plans that would allow for them to be sustainable. There are ideas out there, but as a wannabe game developer, I'm not going to sit here and give secret sauce to my competition. Anyways, I better shut up and get out of here. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.